Hello, you've caught me remembering that time I was a complete jerk to Dave. In my defence, how can you see someone standing up from their chair and not sneakily pull it out from behind them? We've all done it, and look, he appreciated the joke.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. It's just, sometimes the universe presents you with a golden opportunity to be a total jerk, and it would be rude to refuse the universe, wouldn't it?
Just like it would be rude to pass up all the opportunities video games give us to be absolute douchebags, both to NPCs and other human players. I mean, I admit I don't need an invitation to be a jerk in games. Just ask the law-abiding citizens of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But when I'm gifted the chance to be a total arse, well then, quite frankly, I don't know how you could expect anything less from me.
Here are 7 times video games let us be total jerks, and we just couldn't resist.
Our first entry is all about Fall Guys, a game where you'll accidentally be a jerk all the time. Maybe you're one of those people who sort of flails about in front of everyone else, clumsily making your way through a level while inadvertently holding up everyone behind you. A bit like a learner driver at rush hour. But there's something very specific Fall Guys offers that enables you to derail and infuriate other players deliberately.
The grab button.
I hate grabbers. Oh, I hate grabbers so much. Especially when you encounter them in situations where there's pretty much no tactical advantage to grabbing whatsoever. Why are you doing it? Just concentrate on your own game instead of trying to ruin mine.
I've said all of those things while playing Fall Guys, with added swear words obviously, until, that is, a grabbing opportunity presented itself to me.
Sometimes the I'm going to be a jerk now version of red mist just descends, doesn't it? You see a person in front of you, desperately trying to stay afloat in a sea of other beings, all attempting the same thing. And instead of doing what they're all doing, you just give a little squeeze of R2. Ruin someone else's day. Oh, it's naughty. They're going to be absolutely furious about it, but
oh, it's just one of those things that's really funny when it's happening to someone else.
Especially when you're the one making it happen. R2 may as well be called the annoy button for all the tactical use it is in 90% of Fall Guys rounds. It's the game basically saying, go on, you know you want to, be a jerk. And I do, Fall Guys, I do. Skyrim is next. Wow, it's like I never stop making these, isn't it? With an iconic ability that passes itself off as this amazing magical power unique to the Dragonborn. But in reality, the unrelenting Force Dragon Shout is just a fancy way of trolling Skyrim's NPCs.
God, the word trolling is doing some heavy lifting there. It covers everything from ruining neatly laid out sets of crockery,
annoying, yes, but recoverable, to literally hurling people to death off the side of mountains. Look, don't be giving me the judgmental eyes, okay? I'm simply playing the game how the developers intended it to be played. You don't give the player an ability that allows them to hurl anything, be it person, spider or frost troll, halfway across the map and make a game set in the mountains if you don't want NPCs arcing through glorious clean air before tumbling to their doom. And I maintain my long-held argument that Skyrim's NPCs in particular are there to be slaughtered. The bit where they're walking around all vacant and staring into the middle distance and saying things like,
"Who do you think's killed more Imperials? You or me?"
That's a holding pattern. They're waiting. They're waiting for you, the Dragonborn, to activate their true form, which is a flailing body, limbs like sausages stuffed in socks, ragdolling down the side of a cliff.
And if they don't want to die, then they shouldn't be so funny when they do.
I can't resist it. I just can't. Next up, we've got Untitled Goose Game, which may as well be called Untitled Jerk Game, to be honest. And this is an entry that's going to need very little explaining for anyone who's ever encountered an actual real-life goose, as these things are just the pinnacle of douchebaggery, hanging out in countryside gangs, ruining picnics.
I had a run-in with a goose once where it literally made me late to a wedding reception because it was patrolling outside the entrance of the pub and honking at me whenever I tried to walk in.
And that's basically the game. Be a goose and annoy people. I mean, look at this to-do list here. Rake in the lake. What possible purpose could that serve other than to force the groundskeeper to fish it out again? But then, when you're in control of the feathery swine, the power you feel. Oh, yes. They've nailed everything about geese. That waddling strut, the threatening clatter of their unfurled wings, the piercing honk which you can do on command.
You feel in charge when you're controlling the goose.
You're in the driving seat of this perfectly evolved miscreant, the apex scallywag, for whom nothing is too infantile. You make the groundskeeper hammer his own thumb with a perfectly timed honk. And it is just glorious. To play Untitled Goose Game is to be a jerk. There's no question mark, no invitation, no way of resisting. And when it's as fun as this, Untitled Goose Game is a temptation to which I will gladly succumb time and again. Stickbold is next, an office favourite here at Access, and a multiplayer game that offers the sweetest of consolations for players who find themselves knocked out early on. Because you can do more than spectate in Stickbold. You can, if you like, actively interfere with the players who are still in.
And I do like, obviously.
Being a jerk in Stickbold is so much fun that it's almost worth deliberately being knocked out early, just so you can have fun ruining everyone else's day. Not only do you get to watch as your friends frantically dodge all the obstacles the game throws at them, buses, for instance, but you get to add to the chaos, charging in like a prime jerk to snuff out someone else's chances of victory.
If you're on the receiving end of this, it is infuriating because, you feel like you're being punished by someone who should be out of the game.
Imagine a player being sent off in FIFA but then being allowed to throw water bottles at opposing players from the touchline. Like pretty much all the entries on this list, it's either funny or rage-inducing, depending on which side of the line you're standing. Personally, as someone who often gets knocked out immediately in Stickbold, I absolutely love this. If I'm going down, you're coming down with me. Mass Effect is next, and oh, this is cathartic. You know the score here. On your first playthrough, you're probably going to be nice to everyone. You want everyone to like you and think you're a great commander and to not die at the end, blah, de blah, blah, blah. And you get to the end and you think back to all those conversations you had, all those white lies you told because you wanted to get the trophy for romancing one of your crew, and you think, much like in real life, I wonder what would have happened if I'd have just said something really mean.
I don't know what drugs you're on, but stay back and I won't shoot you.
Really mean and also brutally honest. Let's not kid ourselves.
And so you start a second playthrough, the jerk playthrough, where you just say the absolute meanest, worst thing possible during every conversation. Sometimes that means hurting people's feelings.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Go to hell.
Sometimes it means hurting people's everything. But for you, it's a wonderful release, the chance to say whatever the hell you want and not suffer any real-life consequences. And that is an offer I simply cannot refuse. Hitman 3 is next, a game where your job is to kill people that most definitely deserve it. Your targets are absolute scumbags, but some of the assassination methods offered up by the game definitely stray into jerk territory.
I don't feel bad about eating Hitman 3's forbidden fruit. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's the juiciest forbidden fruit of the lot.
But it's definitely unnecessary. Take Carl Ingram in Hitman 3's Dubai buy level. An awful human, but if we're being efficient about it, a quick garrote would definitely suffice. But Hitman 3 isn't really about being efficient. It's about being funny, and so you put the jerk mileage in. You disguise yourself as penthouse security and start irritating him with loud noises. He goes off on one to his staff. You annoy him so much, he decides to cool off the only way a megalomaniacal billionaire knows how, by hitting golf balls off the top of a skyscraper.
This is where you tee up your assassination. Little golf joke there for you.
Out comes the exploding golf ball you stole from a maintenance worker earlier on. Ingram tees it up, executes his swing, and...
Carl Ingram finally gets what he deserves.
Hole in one. I did steal that joke from the movie Anaconda.
There's no one time Hitman 3 offers you the chance to be a jerk. It does it every mission, and there's no way I'm not doing all of the funny kills, obviously. Final entry, Bloodborne. A game that lets you do a thing I cannot abide, mainly because I've been on the receiving end of this way too many times, and always at the wrong time. You'll be there, battling through, being brave, inching forward, definitely not running away screaming from one of those wolf things with blue eyes. You do all of that, you breathe a big sigh of relief, and all of a sudden, someone invades.
I still don't... Why?
Oh, it annoys me so much. Some smug, self-satisfied, high-level blood bully swaggering into my world and killing me just for sport. The invasion mechanic, beloved by everyone except me, it seems, allows you to ring the sinister resonant bell and materialise in the world of another hunter. And it seems no one can resist doing this, especially when it's my world they're brushing past.
When you consider the penalty for death in Bloodborne, you respawn at the last lamp and all the enemies are back, then invading someone else's game just to kill them, I just think it's the single biggest jerk move in all of video games.
I've never done it. I never will do it. Ash captured this for the video. I refuse on principle. No, it's not because I'd more than likely get killed by the person whose world I've invaded. Grow up! It's because I always treat people how I'd like to be treated myself. Okay, let's stick Skyrim back on. I need to creep into someone's house and murder them in their sleep just to cool off. There we go then. 7 times video games let us be jerks, and we just could not resist. Have you partaken in any of these gaming sins? Can you think of any examples we haven't included? Let us know in the comments. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and click the notification bell to make sure you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching.